Hi everyone, I'm Katie. I'm the director of programming here at Wicked Queer, and welcome to our comedy shorts Q&A. I kind of took the reign on this when I came on. I'm one of the programmers who am always looking for the comedy shorts or the comedy features or the more lighthearted ones. And I started by doing a comedy web series program, and then eventually it's turned into, this is I think my third year just doing a comedy shorts program. And I just love bringing I really love being able to bring comedy, and some of the topics are very deep, but you guys do it in a very comedic way. So I'm really excited to have some of the filmmakers and one of the stars here. So I'm just going to go around. If you guys can say what you did on the film and just maybe a brief synopsis. So Frank, we can start with you.
Sure. Hey, my name's Frank Smith. I'm going professionally now by Frank Arthur Smith, which did not fit here. So just Frank Smith for today. I wrote Open to It. It's a web series, and we premiered episode 1 at Wicked Queer, which was awesome. And I'm also the lead actor in it and EP.
And give us a short synopsis.
Sure. So it's about gay couple that's experimenting with being open for the first time and the sort of like sexy, silly situations that arise. So episode 1 is just like sort of about their first threesome ever and how that goes comically wrong in some ways.
Yes, it does. James, what about you?
So I am the lead of Cocktail Hour, which is I think like 13-minute short film about a gay couple, one of whom is very able to deliver on the sperm donation that he needs to give for them to impregnate their surrogate. And then my character finds himself woefully incapable of ejaculating at the clinic. And so they go on little adventure to try to find a place where my character can get out of his head and get away from the like anxieties that he has about parenthood to be able to ejaculate into a cup.
Beautifully said.
It would be very beautifully said. And Aiden, am I pronouncing that correctly? Aiden, am I pronouncing that? Is that
Aiden.
Yeah.
It's Adan.
Adan. Okay. Can we just have what you did on the film and the brief synopsis?
Well, I'm gonna explain it for him because instead of him, because in fact he doesn't speak English. So sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
So he's a Christian main director and the main. He did the right. Well, he wrote it, and Christian is about a trans boy who wants to be the priest. So he's going to do the interview with the priest of his hometown. So the priest from his hometown doesn't know that he's trans. So when he discovers it, it makes a funny situation, because in fact it's the priest tries to be a nice guy and to be cool, but the short film focuses on if a trans man can be priest or not. So it has a deep message within it.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does. And I have more questions about that. And Emma, what about you?
So I'm the writer and director of Admit One, and Admit One is sort of this love letter to movies. It's a rom-com, but it's also a Western and also a sci-fi. So this girl is caught falling for the girl behind the snack counter at her favorite movie theater. So to get the girl, she has to face the challenges of these different genres of film. And then eventually she leans into the romance of it all to get the girl.
It was so cute. It was so cute. I loved it.
That's the goal. I'm a romantic.
And we need more of those kind of movies. So I'll start by asking you all, and James, I'll cater your question a little bit. Where did you guys come up? How did you guys come up with the idea for your short? What was the process? And Frank, I'll start with you.
Sure. I think like what I had observed for a while in the gay web series space. Like, you know, there are so many wonderful ones like Eastsiders, Hunting Season, The Outs, but one theme I was noticing was like polyamory and open relationships were often portrayed as like this very, very dramatic apocalyptic thing, and like, oh, their relationship's done. I was like, you know, I feel like we could show this in like a more funny, lighthearted way. So that was the main thing, but also just generally kind of like promoting you know, consensual non-monogamy as like, you know, an okay thing, not taboo. Let's de-taboo it, but which is, you know, the proper word. And lastly, I don't know, just like it's not, as you see the show going forward, it's not all about open relationships in particular. It's more like whether you're doing like sex with strangers or even just having like a 50 Shades of Grey tie-up night or anything in between. Like, it's about being open and consenting and communicating with your partner. That's sort of the main thing. But obviously, we get in with like 3 hot guys having a threesome to start.
Yes, of course. That's how you have to open it.
Definitely.
That one shot, he like takes his shirt off and it's like, and I was like, yeah, that's the money shot.
So my mom was at the screening, and when that happened, she went, "Oh my."
That's funny. James, how did you get involved with Cocktail Hour, and how did the casting process go?
So we did this, I think, in I think we filmed it in like February of 2021 in like the New York area. So it was still very like, vaccines had just come out. I think had only just been vaccinated, so I'd only just started getting back on Actors Access, and it was honestly just for me really good timing. I felt like a mess. The character's a fucking mess. And the writer director Jason Loritz is working on like a broader project about childhood or child parenting, rearing children, and it was nice for me to see a character that was like in their 30s. I'm 35, a gay character who was allowed to be, you know, a mess, and also like not, what am I trying to say? Not hot. I mean, like really, they're just very. I think we both are not. Both of the actors cast, I thought, I don't know, real, especially on the day of shooting. I was in a very dark space, and it had been pandemic, and we both just were haggard and tired by the time we showed up to the shoot. And I think it's like you can see kind of in the filming of it, or like in the final product. Not necessarily like, I think it fits within the story, but anyway, I hope that answered the question. It was a dark spot and good timing.
Great. And Aidan, how did you come up with the writing and the story overall?
Well, in fact, it came up with the need of joining two different groups of people that are not commonly joined up. The fact that the church is really has a really important role here in Spain, and the fact that the LGBT community is coming out here like a new cultural group here. So there's no argument against that, the fact that a trans man is still a man, but the church is not agreeing with that. So I think that he wanted to you know, focus on that idea, the idea that still the church doesn't share this this opinion or this truth. So since there's some cases here in Spain and also all along Europe that show that gay men can't be priced, and the fact that also no trans people is visibly connected to the church. I think that he wanted to, you know, put an eye on that. So I think that it came out from necessity.
Definitely. And like when we finally, as the audience, learn that the lead is trans, I was like, hell yeah. I didn't read the synopsis, so I wasn't sure where this was going. And then I was like, yes. I was like, yeah, I've never seen a story like this told. So I really loved that part.
Yeah, well, in fact, it's the the main plot of the of the short film, and is still a surprise when you see that, because in fact, you see that the interviewer really tries to be cool. He dances in his burrow, but still has some some issues with acknowledging that Cristiano is still Christian is still a man.
Yeah.
Even though he's trans. So yeah.
And I loved at the end though when it was like, yes, when he's
Fine,
stamping.
Sorry.
Emma, what about you? How did you kind of come up with this story? I know that you love rom-coms.
I do. And there were like no Leslie rom-coms, like besides like Happiest Season with Kristen Stewart came out and I was like, a gay rom-com. But they're really like, it felt like, we're all in the comedy shorts section. And like there is such a need for like queer comedies because so often the narratives end in tragedy. So I really wanted to tell a rom-com, and I wanted it to be beautiful, because so often rom-coms are, sort of shot very simply. But my family and we have a saying where if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So I was like, obviously, if it's going to be a rom-com, it has to be a Western and also a sci-fi. And I love movies, so it was just this love letter to movies too.
It really was, and it was just I just loved the setting and just like I was like, where's this going next? It was like first the Western, and then it was the sci-fi, and then it was New Year's, and I just loved it.
Thank you so much.
Frank, going back to what you said about kind of the communication between couples, I think that is an important piece within this short. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna open yourself to a relationship, you have to have the communication, and particularly your character, seemed a little on edge before this happened and was really concerned about his partner, which I thought was like super, super sweet, even though he's like in the middle of having sex with a hot boy. But but I think there is also a very sweet element to this as far as them as a couple and seeing their love for each other. I would just love, to know more about that and why you wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to be very clear in this is that, so I got a question like at the script phase from people of like, well, what are they dissatisfied with in each other? Why are they seeking this out? And so I wanted to like be like, no, that's the point. Like there is something they're gaining from it, absolutely. Like, and that's why I mentioned like, oh, that Cam like felt religious oppression growing up, and Greg felt like overlooked because of his looks back in the day. But like that, it's not a dissatisfaction with each other. That was very important to me. That this is a journey like they're going on together. And even in the course of the show, one thing I don't want to do is like dangle a breakup over them, because one person explained it to me in a way that like really resonated, where they were like, think of like a straight couple on a TV show and they're having a baby. They're not like teasing, are they going to break up over this? It's just, how are they going to move through this together? And that's exactly how I view this. Like an open relationship is a new thing for them. There are going to be missteps. There are going to be miscommunications, but they're growing and doing it together. Yeah.
And I thought, I mean, there's definitely a heart to the short, and I really liked them.
Thank you.
And their couple, and I just can't wait to see. I know you said you're going to be shooting 3 more.
Yes, we are literally actually having callbacks tomorrow morning. So for the other parts in episode 5. Episode 5 has a ton of new characters, and episodes 4 and 6 like don't. I don't know how it ended up that way.
Awesome. And James, I think the question everyone wants to know is, what was it like fake masturbating so much on screen?
Yeah. I mean, talk about not being hot, like referring what I said to earlier, like it was, it was so secondary. It was so like, not even, it wasn't the forefront of it at any point. I will say everyone was like so on top of taking care with like what was going on for the character. And it was a small crew. Like it was Jason, the DP, me, in like a very tight space. I think the editor was kind of crouched in a corner as well. And we had all had conversations about like what like the level of neurosis that character was at, and just the level of like disconnect from his own body that there was, I don't know, we were just also on board with like what was going on for the character, that it wasn't physically or sexually awkward like at all. It was so technical and so like, can you play more with your face like with this and get closer to me? Like it was just another day at the fucking job, you know? Like it was really technical.
I love though how, you know, by the end he kind of brings in his partner and he realizes that he wants him there to help him through this process. And I just thought the ending was really beautiful.
I have to say, I also thought it was beautiful, and not just, you know, because I think I did a good job in that scene, but because the really, when I saw it all brought together, the different aspects of like the composer and the editor just really found a rhythm for the whole piece that just really does come to this like kind of mini, like so much of the breakthrough is unspoken too. It's like the script, it's not like they have a major revelation or go into, but there's just like this unspoken thing and this couple that they just kind of know each other's rhythms. And I like what you're saying, Frank, about like, because this kind of had that too, where it's like, they're not going to break up. Like they know each other. This isn't about, is this going to break them? It's about like how they press each other's buttons and how ultimately they like come together.
Actually, yeah, I love that you said that, and that was something very special about yours, that like they do just kind of like they get each other, and I feel like in mine it's something similar. Like they don't have a drawn out conversation of like, I probably should stop having sex with them and come check on you, right? It's just like with couples that have that history, you can like shorthand it.
Yeah, I do think our couple is a little more. I think they could probably pay more attention to how each other are operating and check in a little bit more, but definitely there are similarities.
Adon, I love, and I think a lot of people who try to, you know, say homosexuality is wrong within like the Catholic Church, use the Bible and use verses as defense. And I really liked the part where they're going back and forth with the verses of the priest saying one thing and then the guy saying another thing. I would just love to know his thought process about writing that part.
Well, in fact, it was really tough for him because, in fact, he's completely atheist. So he had to do a really hard job of investigation with not only the Bible, but also he talked with some priests. He went to some churches too. He went to a seminary in order to know how that works. And also some LGBT Christian associations that are here in Spain. And well, I think that he really liked that part because, in fact, since he's totally out of it, because, you know, he's atheist, I think that he found that really interesting, even though, and I don't know, I think that not only the fact that they have a vertical battle, but also the fact that the main priest has to read the Bible, but Christian doesn't have to. It's really characteristic also to, you know, to put on weight the fact that most LGBT people can be even more Christian than the people that are only, you know, or the people that work there. You know, and I really think that that's the main interesting part in that.
No, I agree. And we actually are screening a documentary called Building a Bridge, which it follows this Catholic priest who is really immersed within the LGBTQ community and like wrote a book about it, how there has to be a bridge between, you know, the queer community and the church. And then you have, they also show the opposite side of this guy who is super alt-right and just uses verses in the Bible to say how this is wrong, but it's like, that's not how you should be interpreting it. And it's like literally like exactly what was in the script.
Yeah. And also, you know, the Bible is a double sharp weapon. You know, you can use it to discriminate, but also you can use it to join people and to include. the queer community. And in fact, Christian shows that
100%.
He uses verses to include himself in the church and also in the all the Christianity thing.
Emma, I would love to talk about your set design and just your location and kind of how you pulled it all off, because I just loved how I know they're all shot in that one spot, but it just, everyone had their own theme and color and feel and tone to them. So I just love to know about kind of how you did all that.
Well, I had 3 different amazing production designers who like all specialized in that or in each of their genres. But they all like helped each other out too. And like I bridged the gap because I wanted it all to feel very connected to each of the different segments. So yeah, it was a lot of like stumbling through the like Sony prop department and going, ooh, I like that wooden table. But and also just like random tubes we picked up off of Facebook Marketplace that I was like, we can make this into a Star Wars cantina. So it was a lot of crafting, gonna be honest. That cyborg guy I made in my kitchen with moldable plastic. So
love it.
With enough determination.
And what
we
was
could turn the whole lobby,
how did you genres. when did you film? Like, was this a movie theater that was like open to the public?
So we had to shoot 3 overnights. And we were all students. We were all at LMU. So on our weekend, we shot Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. And had to rush everything back into place for the theater to open, the next evening.
That's awesome. Good for you. I'd love to ask all of you, do you think it is important to continue to make queer comedic content, and all of you in some sort of way touch upon, really relatable themes, but you do it more in a comedic way? So I'd love to know, what do you guys think about that? And are you guys going to continue to kind of make things within this tone? Frank, I can start with you.
Yeah, definitely for me. I think I've really found my voice through like comedy, queer comedy, I'll even say, just because it's an easy way to like almost sneak across lessons to the audience. Like Golden Girls is one of my touchstones, and they hit on a lot of queer issues of the day.
Oh my God, obsessed with Golden Girls. And then I was like, how were we allowed to watch this as children? Probably because so much of it went over our heads, but I was like,
Oh, I watched it with my mom growing up on Lifetime, and the jokes are so inappropriate for children, but like, I think so a lot of that show informs me, one, like that they talk about such serious issues in a funny way, but also that like they make the characters real people. And that's something like, I don't know, that always works really well for me in comedy, when you feel like these are like real actors playing like these fully developed, textured people. They're not just like going for laughs, they're like taking their moments. And I guess when I think of like programs that have like changed culture, like Murphy Brown, Will and Grace, they often are shows that are just kind of like sneaking in this point, like, hey, maybe even Transparent. Like Transparent had its very dramatic moments, but it could be very, very funny too. It just feels like, to me, the best way to get through to people is make them laugh, and then they're like, oh, good point.
No, definitely. And James, how did you feel? Because this is a topic that honestly I haven't seen. I mean, two, male parents, and I haven't really seen that in any sort of shorts, at least that's come across, my desk to watch, and the way it was done. And, we don't really get a lot about, men seeking to be parents. But obviously this was done in a comedic way, but also in a very heartfelt way. How did you feel about being in this?
I so connected with the way that my character is wired, and it's the way that the writer director is wired too. And on my most like unchecked type A day, it's the way I'm wired. And it's very removed from my sexuality. It's very removed from you know, they're traits I got from my mom, and they're traits that I inherited from just being, you know, bullied or whatever. And I think the character I played is like almost like he's their gay second. It's like, so it's not like my character is more like anxiety driven, or more driven by anxiety than he is by his sexuality, which is why I think that script is ultimately like really interesting, because they just kind of happen to be gay, and it's not like they shy away from it. I mean, you really are seeing them in a pretty vulnerable, like, gay situation. And it kind of reminds me, I've loved this last season of The Other Two, and I don't know if anybody else is watching that show. It's on HBO Max, stars Molly Shannon, and part of what was so good about it is that the main character is a gay guy, and they put him in some of like the most sort of like niche gay circumstances that, like, I hadn't even, that I've been in as like a New York City gay, and until I saw it on screen in front of me, I was like, oh my God, that's right. Like, you have to have the conversation about like which of you is eating pizza tonight, because one of you needs to bottom, and it's not like a Ryan Murphy hot sexy sex bullshit. It's just like a tedious thing you have to figure out. That's you know, and that I like
seeing. I'm straight and I'm from Kansas.
Yeah, yes. And I like just seeing characters, whatever type of identity they are, have to deal with the fucking tedium of life, because their lives are so much more tedium than they are like gay. I don't know.
No, I
mean,
totally,
it's really gay too, but
no, I mean, and again, like, I really loved how it was done, and how the director kind of took the story, and exactly, it has nothing to do with them being gay. It's just a certain situation, because you see the straight couple is in that exact situation, you know, obviously right next door. So yeah, I really loved how it was done. I'd love to know, as far as Adon's writing directing style, does he usually go towards comedy, or what's kind of usually his tone?
Well, in fact, he did multiple comedies, and but I believe that ¿has hecho alguna comedia más aparte de
Con Paquito era mejor?
Well, in fact, he did another one that was about well, you know, he loves to take well, you know, the right-wing cultural stuff and the LGBT community and join them together.
Love it.
Yeah, he loves it. The last short film that he did was Con Paquito era mejor. That means with Franco was better, literally. You know, Franco was a dictator that dictated during the 20th century, and he was really, you know, right-winged, and all the close mind. And in fact, the short film is about an old man that is all the time saying, well, with Franco this was better, with Franco everything was better. The truth is that Franco was not the dictator, but the lover that he made during the military service. So at the end, they join together, and they are really cute, all the gay couple. So yeah, he loves to join those cultural tropes together.
That's
and in fact, he's planning new LGBT comedy. Christian is going to become a TV series. He's going to continue on that project.
Yes, so, yes.
How is it going with Christian on that seminary, and the fact that Christian is going to be, you know, the less problematic person in that seminary? So yeah.
When is that? Is that in production, or when is that going to happen?
Well,
está buscando plataformas.
Right now he's searching for platforms to produce the.
Ya está escrito.
But it's already written, so yeah.
Yes, keep us posted. I want to see it.
Hey, we will. Yeah.
And Emma, how about you? Because I read your director's statement, and you kind of just said it that you wanted to give narratives not to end in tragedy, LGBTQ narratives. That seems really important to you, and that obviously came across in this film. But I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, well, I love comedy. I'm a big comedy guy. So, and it's just the content that I know I was looking for and looking for, you know, on the big screen. So I wanted to see more of it, and I was like, guess I'm gonna have to freaking make it myself. Yeah, so I just want to see, you know, I want to see content that's, you know, that's queer, but not about being queer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Love it.
Wow.
I was just talking about this when I just did my women's shorts Q&A, and just the importance of representation. And we had, you know, for the first time, I've had some non-binary characters in the women's section. And then we had a trans female as one of the leads, and just overall the importance of representation, however they are portrayed, you know, comedic or drama. And I just love that you guys are making that content or starring in that content. And I know you'll continue to make that content. So I just want to say I really appreciate, you know, the shorts that you made. And I really hope you continue to make those shorts and star in those shorts, because it's really, really important to the community. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I'd love to know if you guys what are you guys doing next? You guys, anything else in the works, Frank?
Yeah, so we are shooting episodes 4 through 6 of Open to It at the end of May, which will be a lot of fun. You know, people were like, "Oh, should we go away for Memorial Day?" No, we should make more of the show. I was like, I agree, let's. And in the sort of like, so that's taking my main focus, but I also am like working on financing a feature, because obviously when you do like a web series for tens of thousands, you're like, let's do a feature for $1 million. I can do that easy.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's a very different tone. It's like a family drama about an Indian American family, and their son, like, you know, isn't really understood by them. He wants to do like Filipino dance, and they like want him to go to Harvard. So, but like kind of like what we were talking about earlier, it's not all heavy, and the dance element especially is like very light and fun. I think even at my most dramatic, I'm still like, okay, but dance break, you know, that's the queerness in me.
Musical.
Yeah, literally.
And James, what about you? What are you up to?
I'm a stand-up comic in New York City, so I'm hoofing it, you know, on the grind. Very free to be cast in anyone's projects or web series that are going into production.
Love it. We already know that hopefully this is going to be turning into a TV show. And what else?
Well, in fact, there's another project that he is working on, and it's a drama film. He's going to be his first film, like not short film, but film. Long film, yeah. It's about an abusive gay relationship, and how it's about it's going to start like a romantic relationship, like the typical romantic relationship with all the romantic canons, but it's going to degrade into an abusive relationship, and he wants to show how this easily can turn out. So yeah, he's right now working on that project, and we're really excited about that also, because it's going on. It's working.
Awesome.
I
can't wait to see it. And Emma, what about you?
Well, I'm on that production assistant grind on NCIS LA. So LL Cool J is my homie. No big
Love
deal.
it.
But in my free time, I'm working on an animated comedy pilot called Dykeopolis. So big things coming.
I'm already sold. I'm sold on the name.
You might see it next year.
Yes. No, seriously, if you guys have anything in the future, just reach out to me. And, you know, I would love to, you know, we love to have alumni and screen their films. Or James, if you're in anything, feel free to send it my way. So thank you guys so much. The comedic shorts program is available through the end of April. So please go and check out these very, 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 very funny people. Thank you guys.